I can't believe it. That's all I needed. The C110 Commodore calculator. I was so frustrated, so discouraged. I had a working processor, a working video driver, even 1080p. When I tried connecting the processor and the VGA, it wouldn't fit on the FPGA. So I took a short break, and almost a year later, I was still on that short break. Today, I'm finishing that short break, and we're going to get back into the project, and I'm going to do this. There's a basic 3-step process that you can follow to get you back on the road every time. I'm going to go through that process myself. Step number 1, identify the real roadblock, not the one that's staring you in the face. The roadblock behind the roadblock. I really have to take time and think about this. Think. I am thinking. After thinking about it, really there were 2 main issues. One, I'm doing this of my off time, and I just don't have huge chunks of time for me to work on things. Number 2, I have no usable results. I've been working on this thing for 4 years. I don't have a working Commodore. It's not here. I need working projects that lead up to the Commodore 64, but are themselves self-contained that I can show progress in. Step number 2, figure out the essentials. At the end of this step, you come out with, okay, these are the things that I cannot sacrifice. Everything else, even though it's awesome, be done later, can be added on, but I'm not going to sacrifice these 2 or 3 most essential things. And once you know what those are, you can be really creative and find other ways of solving your problems. For me, the most important, it has to be retro inspired. I love retro computers, the 70s and the 80s. You could understand the whole thing and you're really connected to it. There's just this element of retro that I'm just not willing to give up. I have to use a CPU that I designed. Period, full stop, the end. I've wanted to do this since I was 10, and I'm gonna do it. When completed, I need this to be a standalone thing that I can just take somewhere and show off. You can plug it in, turn it on, and drive a display with it. Number 3, next smallest delivery. It's not about just finding the next incremental baby step. I need to eliminate as much of the Commodore 64 project as possible. What if I went back a little bit earlier? Before the Commodore 64, there was the VIC-20, basically a smaller version of the Commodore 64. Less memory, fewer graphics modes. It eliminates some complexity, but not as much as I really need. Before that was the Commodore PET. We're getting into a monochrome display at that point, but it's still kind of this full-fledged computer, and I just think about different things that have to work together. I have to go back before the PET if I'm going to, do this older product approach. I don't actually know what Commodore did before the PET. I wonder if they have an Apple I equivalent. Let me actually look up that real quick. History of Commodore. I found this chronological history of Commodore. 1976, they do. They have the CIM-1, microprocessor trainer. That's certainly simpler. A single board computer. Let's see, we got a processor. Looks like some sort of display. A keypad. 1K of static RAM. 6 7-segment LEDs. Totally doable. Let's go back further. There's still a lot to work on with this. So 1975, Chuck Peddle designs the 6502. 19 ? Commodore starts selling the first pocket calculator. Commodore C110. Look at that thing. Oh man, that's beautiful. I had no idea that Commodore made calculators. Add, subtract, multiply, divide. One of the things that every single article I've read mentions is the original clicks-on keypad. These precision hermetic switches have been used in the past 40 years in a wide range of applications and can even be found on the space shuttle. Quite a legacy there. 9-digit LED display. LEDs are, 7-segment LED displays are fairly easy to drive. It looks like the calculator used a TMS 0103 processor by Texas Instruments, which is apparently a register processor. I know what a register is, and they're kind of important in processors, but register processors, it seems, operate on the entire register at once. This is in contrast to the digit processors, which did 1 digit at a time. We're actually going to use my own processor here. It will be closer to a digit processor. Oh, it uses reverse Polish notation. Good nostalgia vibes there. Rechargeable battery. I've never used rechargeable batteries in a project before. We're definitely going to have to do some research on that. All right, looks like that's it. On the outside, a case, low profile mechanical keys, numerical display, charging port and cable. On the inside, I need a processor, battery with charging power and management circuit, and display driver. That's basically it. stop and just do a quick sanity check. Number one, it is definitely retro inspired. Number two, if I go too much simpler, I'd probably have to drop the processor altogether. A digit display is pretty much as simple as you go. I can also definitely take a calculator to a friend's house and just say, hey, look, I made this calculator. Here it is. Use it. I can't believe it. That's all I needed. The C110 Commodore calculator. I think I could do this.